parties could agree on a bill addressing the surge of migrants at the southern border. The president defending his decision to reporters outside the White House on Friday.
Well, I don't call them raids. I say they came in illegally and we're bringing them out legally. These are people where we have the papers. We've gone through the court system. They'll be starting fairly soon.
There's a state of emergency in Southern California as the region's strongest earthquake struck in 20 years. The 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck in the Mojave Desert and damaged homes. Michio Kaku is a professor of physics at the City College of New York. He tells CBS This Morning the big one is still coming.
In 30 years' time, the probability of the big one is about 100%.
And you're listening to USA Radio News.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm loving my Balance of Nature. Since I started, I have not gotten one cold. I kind of fight everything. I get a little tickle, but it goes away.
It's just amazing the difference I felt. I want you to know how much I appreciate the counseling and so forth and your attention to your people. I have been a pretty big advocate for the Balance of Nature. I don't know how many truck drivers have asked me, how in the heck do you keep going at 88, 89 years old? I said, Balance of Nature. If they want to really enjoy some good health, get on Balance of Nature.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code USA.
The government jobs report for June shows a job creation rebound. As we hear from USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes in Washington.
The Labor Department says the U.S. economy added around 224,000 new jobs in June. That's a bounce back from May's week 75,000 jobs performance. Analysts were expecting growth this time of only about 165,000 new jobs. While jobs increased, so did the unemployment rate. The rate rising to 3.7% in June after holding at 3.6% for several months.
Anti-government protests got a bit out of hand on the 4th of July. With more, here's USA Radio Network's Robin Walensky.
In Washington, D.C., the Secret Service arresting at least 2 protesters in a scuffle outside the White House. This starts as someone sets an American flag on fire during 4th of July celebrations. At least 4 people hurt with minor injuries, including 2 Secret Service agents.
And you're listening to USA Radio News.
Here's a great deal on MyPillow. When you go to MyPillow.com, click on the 2-pack special, type in promo code USA, you'll get 2 MyPillow premium pillows for $69.98. Now, that's only $34.99 a pillow. You will not get that price anywhere at retail. It's the lowest price ever offered on radio or TV. And like all MyPillow products, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 2-pack special, use my promo code USA.
Climate change is one of those issues we continue to hear about more and more, and one of those issues that will also play a very important role in the 2020 election. Beverly Hallberg is a president of the District Media Group, and she says how Republicans approach global warming is key these days.
One of the things you do hear Republicans talk about more is the fact that climate change does exist. The question is it as dire as we hear so many Democrats talk about? You have Democrats saying that the world is going to end in 12 years and we have to have these drastic policies. The reality is the messaging that's going to win is saying, look, innovation leads to cleaner energy. The United States is one of the leaders when it comes to clean energy in this country, and that is because we roll back regulation for innovation to take place. So there are steps that we can take on climate policies, but Democrats want to double down by taxing people and saying that industries have to go out of business because they're not clean enough. That is not only resonating with the working class, but it also isn't the way forward for us to have clean energy as we continue to progress in this country.
And finally, coming up on Sunday, the United States women's soccer team will take on the Netherlands in the Women's World Cup final in Lyon, France. The women are seeking back-to-back championships, and also on Sunday night, the men will face off against Mexico in the Gold Cup soccer finals at Soldier Field in Chicago. For more news, please remember you can always find us online at usaradio.com. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
It's 8:05. She's crude, often misconstrued, and is actually a dude. Welcome to Life's a Drag. Say hi to New Hampshire's 2018 Entertainer of the Year. Your hostess with the mostest, Monique Too Soon.
Hi. You're listening to Life's a Drag. My name is Monique Too Soon, and tonight is one of those circumstances where I'm actually a dude. Because I had to work late today. And unfortunately, my job is going to take precedence over my drag.
It happens.
It does happen. Tonight I have three, not brand new. You're not brand new. You've been on the show before. But I have two other co-hosts that have never been on the radio show before. But one of them is a radio show host here at WSMN named Jason Crosby.
Yes, that's me. Yes.
And he's here tonight. We're going to let him plug all his stuff too. And then we are also joined by drag superstar, drag fan superstar. I don't even know how to say you. Fangirl, Dan Cronin. He's always commenting on our live feeds about Club 96 and blah, 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 blah. And I told him...
Club 96.
Yeah, and I told him if I ever get rich, I'll open up a Club 96 so he can just manage the place because he loves to talk about it.
Yes, I do, and I will hold you to that.
And then we are also joined by our last-minute volunteer photographer from last week, and he's an amazing photographer, and he'll plug his website at some point. His name is Michael Von Redlick.
Good evening.
So this has been a really odd week. It's been a very relaxing 4th of July for me after last weekend's festivities. And last weekend, if you don't know, we had Nashua Gay Pride, and it was crazy out in these streets.
It was amazing.
It was crazy. You need to get closer to your microphone.
Hello.
Yeah, it was so busy. There must have been 4,000 people.
Oh, easily.
Like it was hot, but it wasn't too bad. And then it downpoured.
Yeah,
right before my speech. If that's not a sign, like I had to go back into my Jeep, which was great because I got air conditioning, and being in drag in the heat is not a good idea. I'm sure we all reeked at Martha's after standing outside in the day.
Not too bad.
No?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not yet either. Yeah. No, Martha, doing a show after being in Pride all day is a lot of work. It's very stressful, and we ended up so we did the daytime stuff, and then we went to Martha's and literally stripped everything off except underwear. And we laid on the floor at Martha's to cool down because Martha's is hot upstairs.
Yeah,
if they don't have the air conditioning blasted, it gets really hot. So we were like laying on the floor naked, waiting for drinks, and then we had food, and then we did a second show. But you were at Pride all day, from morning to noon or morning to midnight, because you were there for the meet and greet and everything.
I was, yes.
Yeah, so you were with us all day, and the daytime, my Jeep was second in line in the parade. Only person in front of me was the mayor and alderman and council.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised at how soon you appeared in the parade route.
So, yeah, I was second on the list, which was really cool because I was like, yay, Life's a Dragon. I had banners for the radio show and the radio station. My Jeep was covered in advertising stuff. So
you represented the station good.
Yeah, and you did too in your Monique Too Soon t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, wait, you mean
you can
one?
Show the camera your shirt, and if you're listening, I'll describe it because that means you can't see it. It's a lime green with Monique photo glitter bomb. You can buy it at teespring.com/toosoontees. That's my favorite one of all of them. All the shirts I have that have been made, that's my favorite one.
The camera doesn't do justice to the green either. It's actually a really nice lime green. It's looking dull in this camera light.
It's
it's a very nice green.
It is a nice green.
It's limey.
Green's my favorite.
It's
I like
fun
green
for the
and blue.
summer.
It's the kind of green you don't lose someone at the beach when they're wearing it, you know?
That's true. Yeah, and we could have seen you all around Gay Pride too because nobody was wearing green there. Everybody was wearing rainbow.
That is true.
Yeah, everybody was wearing rainbow except for me.
Actually, I was wearing rainbow too because I was wearing the Cher shirt.
I don't remember, honestly.
I did the costume change.
I was so consumed with having to give a speech.
And that speech was also amazing.
I wish someone got it on camera because I spent so long writing that speech, but the sun came out in the middle of my speech.
Yes.
And that was like amazing. I had people coming up to me after the speech was over and crying and my shoulders and just telling me how inspirational it was. And because if you weren't at Pride, my whole speech was about how rough I had it in high school and how bullied I was. But I realized when I was in high school, and I think this is what made me survive, which a lot of gay teens nowadays, they give up, which is really sad when they don't have support. And I kept surviving because I knew that one day high school would be over and there would be a positive light after that, because I'm choosing my path after high school. I'm not putting myself in a place I don't want to be. So that was part of my speech. And then the other part was about the library hate that happened when I got attacked by the Christian hate group. And then, and that was it. And then I talked about the light at the end of the tunnel and just be proud of who you are and be proud of yourself, and nobody can take you down. And I can't even tell you how many people I reminded after the speech that there's light, there's light, there's light. And because there were people in really dark places there.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is, I mean, obviously, like, I've gone to several of your shows.
You have?
And what I have, believe it or not. And I mean, like, your banter and everything during the shows is totally different than what you gave to that. I mean, that speech was like, I was just blown away by it. I truly was. And I'm not just saying that blowing smoke or anything like that. I mean, I really, seeing all the, especially the, I was actually amazed by how many families were there and how many kids were there. And just the fact that, one, you kept it clean.
I know how to daytime, okay?
You do. But you kept it clean, but also you weren't, I mean, obviously I know you were reading off your phone because obviously, I mean, you were nervous. You're speaking in front of this huge crowd.
I know. I couldn't memorize that whole thing.
But I mean, you were actually speaking with conviction, and it wasn't something that you were like, you can't fluff that. I mean, you definitely were hitting people with that. So, and I honestly was very proud of you.
And I know I'm a terrible person, and I'm not very nice, and I'm filthy and uncensored. And that is a 21 plus drag show. Or if this was serious radio, I'd be dropping a few bombs. But I know how to clean myself up, which is what the hate groups don't think I know how to do, because they keep posting a picture of me with 3 boobs. Really, like that's
jealousy.
It's jealousy, and it's like they're not even real looking in the least bit.
But that is actually a really good photo.
Thank you. Yeah. You can see it on my Facebook. Actually, you might not be able to, because after they came after me, I made my Facebook private because they were stealing pictures off of it and printing them up and bringing them to events.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, they're bad.
Okay.
Bad.
They were doing PR for you.
They were doing PR for me. I ended up blocking them all on Facebook because it got really dark after the library event. I got a message on Facebook that they were trying to interfere with my adoption. They tried to have my little kid taken away from me. And that's when I blocked everything, and I went a little dark, and I got a little nervous because we're in smack dab in the middle of an adoption,
right,
which just finalized on April 1st. So that's over now. Now I don't care. I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to hide my face, or the news wants me now. I'm going full in. Last year I had them blur me out. I felt like I was giving like forensic details on a crime scene. Like I saw her fall down the stairs and then her husband stabbed her, but I was hiding. I could do that. So Jason, tell us a little bit about you and your shows.
All right. I am Jason Crosby. I have been doing sports themed radio on the station on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday mornings from 10 to 11. For a while, it started out, I was just doing, well, actually, originally I started doing a podcast that was called Bing Meets World, playing off my last name. And that was kind of just a retrospective vlog almost that I would do on Facebook Live and kind of recap my experience at the radio station when I first came here, trying to keep people abreast of what was going on in my life and, you know, where I was headed. And then I used that to plug an idea for a fantasy football show that we did with that George approved, and we were doing that on Sundays. We had like kind of a full slate of football programming during the football season. I did fantasy football. Mr. Fantasy Fix It was the name of the show. People would call in, ask me questions about their lineups. Who do you start? Who do you sit? We actually had a league that was 8 teams that were all hosts on the show, which was kind of cool. Humble brag, I did win the league, but
that's awesome.
But yeah, I've been doing fantasy football for a long time, so it's something that they had a little bit of a disadvantage. Some of them had never done it before. But so I did that show for a while. When football ended, I kind of segued that into a weekend show, 10 to 11, that was just sports talk, which I have been doing up to this point. That's what I've been doing. And I brought on a co-host maybe a month ago or so now, Brian DeFelice, who is a really cool guy, actually went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, has a little more of a stranglehold on what all this is about than myself. But he's been my co-host for a while now. He actually got a job at WEEI doing overnight stuff. So on Saturdays, he can't be there live. So George offered, why don't you could take Saturdays off or take off some time. I've lost co-hosts in the past. I know that's kind of a hard thing to do it solo. In my mind, I've done solo stuff for a while. I was doing it by myself with the podcast and with the fantasy football show and with my own show for a while. So basically, I said, I'll just keep doing it by myself. I had pitched to him a while back an idea kind of loosely based around, they have a show 3 to 6 on Saturdays, which is an oldies format where they play old music from the 50s. I think it's mostly 50s and 60s. I don't think they go into the 40s, but it's kind of an oldies radio throwback feel. And they have 3 or 4 guys in here who really have that voice, that classic radio voice from the 50s, so that's a really fun theme. And I thought maybe I could do something that would incorporate that time period with film. So my idea, and I actually stumbled upon this is kind of like 4 or 5 years in the making. I went to a flea market back home. I'm from Massachusetts. And I went to a flea market and I came across this box set. Basically, it's a little bit hard done. It's mostly in Chinese. Some of it is in English, the writing, which is what makes for a really, which is what led me to the title of the show. But it's a mix of Chinese and English. It's kind of a box set of 100 films that I got for $5 at the flea market.
Oh, so those are all DVDs.
These are all DVDs. There's probably 30 something DVDs, and they've got 3 or 4 films on each one. And these are, according to whoever in China decided it, these are the greatest films from the classic film era, from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, slightly into the 60s. I think Spartacus is on here, which is like 1960. So my idea was, I'll take this box set and I'll go one by one. Each episode, I'll pick a different film and I will dive headfirst into that film, which is what I've been doing all this week. And I will actually recap the film like a retrospective type show. We'll talk about the politics involved at the time, the historical implications, the actors, the directors, the writers, the music, and kind of just immerse myself in these films one at a time. And I think it kind of takes people on a trip back in time that they may or may not be interested in based on the fact they're listening to the old time music for that 3 to 6 hour. And we also play, I believe we play some old time radio shows right after that time slot as well. So you've got kind of this old time radio feel for those 4 or 5 hours on Saturday night. So I thought this would be a good way to kind of tie that stuff together. And I'm a historian at heart. I have a bachelor's degree in history. So I really felt like this would give me a good chance to do what I love, which is to kind of dive into these films, take myself on a journey into the mindset, into the world of these movies, which in today's society, it's nice to take that trip, honestly, sometimes. So,
absolutely. And
that's in a nutshell what this is. And that's going to be tomorrow night, 6 to 7 is the first episode. And we're going to cover High Noon, which is a Gary Cooper picture that won a handful of Oscars. Every movie I do won an Oscar in some form, whether it's Best Picture, Best Actor, screenplay, music, whatever. So that's the whole idea, and we'll see how it goes, basically. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a passion project for me.
Nice. What did you name the show?
Okay. So this was the description of the box set. If you want to bear with me, I could tell you what it says here, but this is a loosely translated, you can tell, Chinese into English. Yep. Okay, so bear with me. Special gift for you, 100,000 words writing with full color and Oscar Best Movie posters for collecting. Have all Oscar literature at internet. worthily collected movie series for century. Have 100 classical movies which are seen as the everlasting at the movie world. So I read that and that spoke to me. And I said, that's the name of the show, Everlasting at the Movie World, which is not proper English, which makes no sense, but that is the name of the show. And that is what I decided, just because I was motivated by that. And as loosely as this is actually typed out, I won't read the whole thing because it's going to confuse you. But this line, this is a best gift for the movie artist in all of you. This is a gift to you who are eager to enjoy your life, or are chasing the life's essence, or have tasted the sweet or tearful life. So that's deep. That is deep and poorly translated.
Yeah, very poorly. I kind of love it, though. I kind of love the whole idea of it.
It sucked me in, and I think if you're not doing something that you love in this format, then why even do radio? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So is there a Facebook page created for this already?
There is a Facebook page. There is a Twitter. If you search on Facebook for Everlasting at the Movie World, you will find the page. There's been some activity on there. I'm going to try to keep it throughout the week. I'm going to try to do little vlogs, little updates like, hey, I just watched the movie. These are some of my thoughts. This is something fun I learned, to try to, reel people in, keep them up, and give them an opportunity to find the movie and watch it themselves, so they can kind of play along at home and or call in if they feel so inclined during the show live. So it should be fun.
Absolutely. And we'll put a link to it in the live video. If
great.
you are tuning in live and watching us on Facebook, please share the video, because you sharing it gets us more viewers and it spreads the word. And if you're on Facebook, go over to the Everlasting
at the Movie World page and give that a like too, and share it as well.
I want to hear that show.
And
I know that sounds good.
On Twitter, it's at Everlasting Movie without the E, because there was no room. So it's MOVI, Everlasting Movie.
All right.
At Everlasting Movie.
I never use my Twitter.
Yeah.
I do all the time.
You do? See, I just find Twitter to be like, I don't have any action on Twitter whatsoever.
It gives me a way to kind of communicate with famous people in a way, because sometimes they'll actually like it or respond, and it kind of gives you that.
Elvira responded to me on Twitter. Yeah. She saw a tattoo. I have a pug Elvira on my elbow, and she saw my tattoo, and she ended up retweeting it. And I've been trying to meet her for like a million years. So I'm like emailing her manager. I tried to book her for Halloween up here. Holy crap, I've never seen a booking fee like that in my life.
She's actually
no, less than 20, but over 10. Yikes. Yeah, so definitely high, and that was not for a lot. So, I mean, she's expensive. She is coming to Salem. I just saw it on Facebook. I may get tickets and just go meet her.
Yeah,
but I also know the person running the event, so maybe I'll just call in a favor.
Okay.
I know the person that runs Salem Horror Fest.
Oh, nice.
It's a friend of mine from back in the day named Kevin, and he runs all the horror stuff down in Salem, and he's a wonderful guy. Yeah. So let's talk about photography for a minute, because we haven't touched really base on photography.
That's a nice segue to go from movies
to photography.
Well done.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
That is why I host Life's a Drag every Friday at 8 p.m. on WSMN 1590.
Nice plug.
Streaming on the Simple Radio and TuneIn apps.
Yes, actually. Yeah. Click on air on WSMN1590.com to listen live. So tell me about how long you've been doing photography.
My easy answer is since before you were born.
So before 82.
Probably started about 1976 in high school. I'm right there. I can hear me.
Yeah, get a little closer though. I can't.
Okay.
There you go.
Better?
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay, good. I don't want you to miss any of this. So yes, it started back. I was on the yearbook staff in high school in Alabama back in the dark ages, and it's stuck. And I've been doing photography ever since. I did my first drag show photography in 1980 at a little club called Ho John's down in Montgomery, Alabama on Court Street. Long time gone now, though, unfortunately. And then I've kept it going, branched it out into, I do a lot of entertainment, a lot of theatrical work, a lot of model work, male model work, and a lot of architectural and historical architecture work.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of well-rounded. It's not just I photographed this.
Yeah. And I know you're into old movies too, so you definitely are going to be into this radio show because you post a lot about like you were just posted something about Hello Dolly. Was it Hello Dolly?
Yeah, we can I plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
I am a co-sponsor for a presentation of Hello Dolly, September 15th in Concord at Red River Theater. Tickets on sale now at redriver.org.
Oh, I've driven by that. I live in that area now, and I've driven by that theater and always wondered what the heck happened in there.
They do regular movies. They do art movies.
They need to have me do a show.
They could have you do a show, I think.
I should call them.
They have a little stage. And
do you know the owner?
I do.
Hook me up.
I'm going to hook you up.
Because I've never done anything in Concord. I wasn't asked to do Concord Pride either. I've only been asked to do Nashua Pride. I find that kind of sickening, okay? First off,
You're the pride of Nashua.
Right? So. I am the pride of Nashua, but I've also, like, probably the oldest, actually, there's probably one that's older than me. Oldest performing drag queen in New Hampshire. Well, Miss Tony's older, but I meant, like, oldest, well-known.
Oldest living.
Yeah, because all the drag queens I started with don't do drag anymore, except for Ima, who performs at the Breezeway in Manchester now. I can't say her last name because it's kind of filthy.
Well, when you take on the persona, you kind of relinquish age or gender or anything, and it become that character. So age really doesn't matter.
And I've been this character since I was 18 years old, and I'm 37 as of 2 weeks ago.
So really, you're being this character for us, and that's you.
I want to take. My goal for this year is to brand Life's a Drag and brand Monique in a social media appearance way so that we can take Life's a Drag to the next level. Me and my normal co-host Patty are actually auditioning for Naked and Afraid.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine us on Naked and Afraid? I watch it, so I got some, like, I love the show, freaking can't stand how amazing it is. And I always wanted to do it just so I could lose weight and not eat for like 2 weeks.
So you'll be naked in drag?
No, I would actually. I don't think you could even be naked in drag on there. I don't think your makeup would last more than 6 hours. Nobody goes in with makeup because it does not look good when you start to sweat. And you sweat as soon as they drop you off wherever you're going, because it's usually somewhere with like 100-degree weather. But I would do the show as me with my co-host from the show, because sometimes they do like fan shows where they actually train you for like a week prior, and then they send you for 2 weeks instead of 21 days. So I think I could survive for 2 weeks. Patty thinks that we're going to like rip each other apart as soon as we get hungry.
Yeah, one of you would eat the other.
Well, I look edible, so. Patty, you could eat me. She's probably listening. She's in Florida right now, bumming by a pool.
Poor thing.
And Caitlin, who I need to give a shout out to because I know she's at my hair salon working right now. You were supposed to be on the show, girl, and you're doing a client. I'm just kidding. I love you. I worked with Caitlin today, and she's so funny. We were having a blast at work today. It's the last day of the week, and you know when you got all getting like antsy and everything just comes out from the whole week. We were being crazy at work today. Thank God nobody else was working. We would have annoyed the crap out of them.
That's kind of the fun of a holiday week, though, because not many people are around, and you can just let loose.
I know, and I got front row parking here tonight. I haven't gotten parking on this road for my radio show like since the first like 2 weeks we were doing it.
I think people they go up north, or they go places for the weekend for the holiday. So
yeah, last Friday when I was was it last Friday? Yeah, last Friday when I was coming to the radio show from my house. No, maybe did I go home? I don't even know. One time I was coming home, and I think it was the holiday weekend, and I was coming back up north, and the traffic was backed up all the way to Manchester.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, oh my God, I have to sit in that on the way home, but it was gone by the time I got home. Yeah, Fridays is the worst. I'm gonna probably not work Friday mornings at the salon anymore and just come here for the radio, because it's hard to get in drag in a time crunch, and also if you've been working all day, you're exhausted, and the last thing you want to do is put on eyeshadow. I'm sure you all know the feeling.
Certainly,
yeah.
Every day.
It's hard.
Day. It is.
It's hard being a drag queen. It's a lot
challenge.
Of work.
Now, Michael, can I ask?
Yeah.
I can't imagine. There's got to be a level of bravery to do drag shows in Alabama in the late 70s, early 80s. Am I off base with that? That's not a very accepting place in the country for that sort of thing.
No, it was pretty terrifying back in the day, because the Montgomery police would cruise up and down by the club.
Mm-hmm.
They would take down tag numbers for any cars parked near the club,
yeah,
and call the owner the next Monday morning, or it would be published in the newspaper that, or they would tell the owner, your car was seen in a place of ill repute.
Oh man!
And if somebody's like, what do you mean? They would explain it, or it would be in the newspapers. And obviously the redneck boys driving by, oh look, there's one now.
Yeah.
The redneck boys driving by could take pot shots at you too. And it was basically a wink and a nudge. Okay.
You weren't protected.
Gosh, no.
No. That's
Gosh,
impressive to be in that position at that time. So good for you.
It was almost like you would get into the doors because it was in an old warehouse. Once you got in, you were safe. And then there was the trauma at 2:00 when everybody would fall out on the street.
Right.
You would kind of hope that the numbers would protect you.
Yeah.
Everybody just milling around. So it was a challenging time.
We were just talking earlier too about how younger gay people nowadays don't even get how bad it was even 20 years ago. Never mind 30 or more years ago. 20 years ago, when I was pushed in a trash can for being gay in high school. Like and if I left the house in drag, I was hiding in a car. I would not just walk out the front door. I would get in the car so fast that so nobody would see me, because I was you were always afraid that you were going to have the crap beat out of you. And now you can like walk down the street half naked doing cartwheels and drag, and you might get called the F word by someone, but it's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, kids today, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because obviously everything that has been done led to this, but kids today have no clue. I mean, I'm from the late 80s when if you got a certain diagnosis, it was a death sentence, and nowadays it's just like, oh, I'm taking a pill for that. I'm okay.
Yeah. I just saw actually online that they have cured HIV in some lab tests. And
Cool.
that they think that we're well on our way to. They were curing it in animals. And then they, I don't know, you can never know what you can believe online anyway nowadays. But I have seen things going around a lot lately. And I just saw one this week about how they had cured HIV in rats.
I hope so. I mean, hopefully it moves up the human chain soon, because I'm from an era that we buried a lot of people. And thank God it's better now.
Yeah, now it's not a death sentence like it used to be. Because we can medicate and...
Exactly. So now, if somebody tells you they're pause, it's not like a horrifying thing that you still want to put up the crosses and the garlic type thing. It's better. People are more accepting about everything. Again, the kids have no clue what it was like 20 years ago. It was a scary time.
And I think that we have prides, and going back to pride, we have pride so that we can remember those things. But I don't think those things get spoken up about as much as let's put on rainbow underwear and dance on a float and make out. And that's typically what people look at pride and think it is. But it's actually about celebrating how far we've come and celebrating the journey further, because we still have a lot of stuff going on and a lot of rights we're fighting for. We have stuff that's being taken away from us currently. They're trying to make it legal in some states right now to refuse EMT service on gay people, like where you can actually say, no, I don't want to treat you, you're gay. And I believe that actually passed in like Michigan.
I think it did.
In Michigan, you can be an EMT and refuse to perform anything on a gay guy.
It's not surprising the current state of hate that the country is in.
I know we don't like to get too political on here, but we don't really have support in politicians right now. Yeah.
It's sad, but to turn it back around though, I mean, we've come so far from what I started out in when I first came out as a baby gay back in 79. Walked in my first club, saw my first show, and was just flabbergasted. It's like, those aren't guys. There's no way that those are guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it became a lifelong, if you will, obsession with the art form. I've never been in drag. I'm not going to be in drag, but I just love the art form. I love what anybody willing to put on eye makeup, heels, and do a good tuck, or even a bad tuck. I think RuPaul has said it that, it takes a lot of balls to put on a dress and walk out the door.
Yeah.
Can I say balls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be censored.
No, it doesn't get censored. It's live. It's live radio.
You'll get an email later in the week.
I will. I'll be like, that guy is not allowed back on your show. No, I've never gotten that email, and somebody has blatantly sweared on the show. Jessica Wilde.
No names.
Last Friday night, she definitely dropped a big bomb on the radio.
The big one.
So, Dan Cronin, who's wearing a Monique Too Soon t-shirt that you can buy on Two Spring Tees under Too Soon Tees.
I didn't get to get my website. That's not fair.
We'll get back to you.
Okay.
I bounce around a lot.
Okay.
Actually, no, let him bounce it.
Yeah. Do your.
Oh, you just want the
I could
pictures
put some
from the
lights on
VIP.
too. You guys want some lights
What's
in
up?
here?
You
Yeah,
just
that would
want
be
the
great.
pictures
We'll
from
do
the VIP.
Well, I mean that too. but,
Yeah.
You know.
I'll give them to you tonight.
Okay.
I'll upload all the pictures from Pride last Saturday night. As soon as I receive them, I'm usually pretty quick about it. I don't do anything.
Yeah, actually, you'll have them tonight. I turned them around in a week, which for me is pretty good.
A week is good for any photographer. Most photographers take at least 2 weeks to get us photos. So at least. And then usually I request each photographer to do like 1 million shots of me. Aside from those, I didn't ask that. I was too drunk to do a photo shoot on Saturday.
I'm sorry.
And fat.
Yeah, were you? I didn't notice.
Oh, that's because I was wearing a corset and 27 pairs of pantyhose.
And that one costume. It's hard to see past that one.
Yeah, that I have a costume that is molded after lady parts. And I was wearing that last Saturday at Martha's.
Being us.
Yeah, that costume was made for me by somebody in like Alabama, actually.
Oh.
I think he's somewhere south, and he's amazing at doing stuff like that. I actually have, I have a vagina and a penis costume, which is kind of funny. I guess I just have it all.
Obviously.
Yeah, I know. I wear those a lot too. You know me. I love to recycle performances because I know I get a different audience almost every show because we attract a lot of new people. So there's some numbers I just love doing, and those are some of them. Those are a few of the ones I like to do. But I always try to incorporate at least one brand new performance at every show I do, and I try to bring new stuff, even if it fails. I did it, and that's what drag is all about too. Is some things are going to be a complete hit, and some things are going to be a complete fail. Mm-hmm. And I've been on both sides of it. I was an amateur queen at one point, and people don't realize that it took 18 years to mold me into the drag queen I am today. It didn't happen overnight. I worked for free for years before I got a paid booking. And a lot of people like come out of their closet and drag for the first time, and they're like, I want $150. And I'm like, I don't care that you can do a split. I don't have to do a split. And I make a lot more than that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not about if you can do a split, and everyone's got big heads now because they think that because of RuPaul's Drag Race, you become a drag queen and you can just walk out of the place and be booked everywhere. And
yeah, no.
Nope. No. Mm-mm. Was I the first drag queen you ever met?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say if they weren't dressed at the time, but I think so. And as far as having like a full-on conversation, actually knowing them personally, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I
don't know if that's good or bad or indifferent. Just I think so.
When I did the radio show in the morning with George, and it was around the time the library controversy was happening, where I was being attacked for defaming kids or whatever. That's the hate group came after me for a whole bunch of things. But I came on to George's radio show, and he's like, I thought you were going to be in drag. Like, I'm not getting ready in drag for an 8 o'clock in the morning radio show. That's like 3 hours worth of work. And then I'm just going to take it right off and go to work after. I do it for the Friday night show so that it can be seen live on Facebook, obviously. Not this week or the week before. But I will be back in drag next week, I promise. And I'll bring something new. I don't have new hair, but I have hair you haven't seen before, so I'll bring something completely different. And I got a new shirt. Usually I wear one of my own t-shirts, but I got a new shirt that says everybody knows I'm gay. So I'll wear that one next week.
I was going to say, because it doesn't say that on there right now.
No. I'm wearing my pineapple shirt. Okay. I'm a boy tonight. I'm not wearing my girly stuff. Well, I'll leave it to the imagination. For all of you listening, I might be a girl right now. If you're watching live on Facebook, oh, sorry. So this week we had a fundraiser to finish buying Life's a Drag's airtime for the whole year. And at Martha's, which was our show at Pride last week, we ended up raising $857, mostly in ones, which was a lot of fun to count the next day. Oh my God, they were everywhere. And then I put the deadline on Facebook that we needed to raise 450 or something more, or 400 more by the next day. And I've got to say thank you to everybody out there because we raised that money that night on Facebook. And Dan, your money actually was the first that put us over the mount. Yeah.
Well,
you were the one, your donation was the one that got us to our goal and put us a little over. So Thank you very much. And I do want to thank a couple more people, and I'm going to thank them every single week for the month of July. So follow these people and find them on Facebook, because these are fans of the show and these are people who are help keeping our show live. So the first one is on Instagram, and this girl, Sophia, is actually married to Brandon. I'm not going to say last names, but he is part of the city of Nashua, and they are wonderful people. And Sophia is a medical esthetician at Renew, and if she does laser, I'm totally going to see her. I want to get my face lasered. But you can follow her on Instagram at Sophia_Skingram. That's Sophia_Skingram. And I will share her Instagram on my Facebook later tonight. And I also got to give a shout out to Catalyst Chiropractic by Dr. Joanna. Her company made a nice donation to Life's a Drag, and they are a very welcoming place. So if you are LGBTQ or straight or anything, you can feel free and comfortable to go see Catalyst Chiropractic right here in Nashua on Spitbrook Road. And those were the two shout outs I had to give. And of course, to Dan Cronin and MVR Photography for doing our photos. It's not that anymore, is it? What is it now?
No, it is that. But yeah. What did you say?
MVR?
MVR Photography. Yeah, you can find it on modelmayhem.com/MVR Photography. That's www.modelmayhem.com/MVR Photography. I'm also on Facebook under my name, but also I have a photography business page, MVR Photography. And I'm on Instagram, mmvonr. And there's a little picture of me sitting on the bridge of the Enterprise on that one for the
from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what was that?
Somebody's blowing off fireworks.
Oh my God. Well, it's Nashua. You never know if it's fireworks or gunshots.
Well, the windows are intact, so it's okay.
Just kidding, Nashua. Don't hate on me. I'm just kidding. Awesome. So we found out, we'll repeat all that by the end of the show too. We'll get everything back out in the open just so everyone's refreshed, and we'll share them in our Facebook.
Groovy.
So, and I know I've shared your Facebook page this week on every single one of my social media pages.
Thank you.
But I will continue to do the same and redo it for Jason as well.
Thank you.
I want Jason's.
You want, it's on, he's friends with me on Facebook.
Yeah, I want yours.
You can find me.
Yeah, I can find you.
Yeah, it is. I do spell it with a Y if people are looking, but it's on the link right now. But it's JAYSON, Crosby, CROSBY, and the movie show is going to have its own Facebook page. But I'll reshare everything that goes up there. I'm probably going to reshare it through my own Facebook. So
and I reshare.
Find it.
Yeah, and I always reshare Jason's stuff on my Facebook as well, so you can actually find them on there and whatnot. So if you want to follow Dan, where can we follow Dan? Drag Race Superfan. Or just Drag Superfan.
Really, the only thing that you can kind of follow me on is Instagram.
Dan Dodo.
Danny Dodo 78.
Seems close.
Yeah.
At first I thought you were a different Dan, and I was like, who is this Dan?
Well, to make sure that you have the right one, I'm wearing Ornacia in my profile pic.
And if you don't know what Ornacia is,
I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. So Ornacia came from this drag queen on RuPaul's Drag Race named Vivacious, who is like a 27-foot African-American drag queen who barely ever wears a wig. Like, she's very old style, like club drag queen, club music, like probably doesn't like do like anything but club performances. She's very,
pretty much.
You know, she's very crazy like that. But she showed up on Drag Race with a mannequin head on top of her head under a hoodie, and her name was Ornacia. And Ornacia became more famous than Vivacious did.
And honestly, I think she was actually the true winner of season 6. As much as I love Bianca Del Rio, I think that Ornacia really stole and should have won.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I think Bianca should have won, even though
we
know I've had my history with her. I still agree that she was the proper winner for that season. And if they do an all-star, or like a winners thing, she's probably going to win that too. She's untouchable. She really is. Nothing can touch her. And she knows it. She knows she's everything.
True.
She's also a mean person to me. Oh my God. Could they have picked a different day to set off their fireworks?
Well, again, Nashua.
Yesterday.
Yeah, 4th of July. It's the 5th now. But you know what? They're everywhere. They're going to be everywhere the whole summer. Thank God I live in the woods now. My dogs would be barking like crazy if they heard that. So what else do we want to talk about? We talked about Pride. We talked about radio. Let's talk about. Wow, I'm lost for once in my whole life. Let's recap the Dominican deaths that have been going on. So I think we're at like 13 or 14 now. Have you been following this story?
No, but that's just such a trade-off. Like, oh, hey,
Well,
we're
no.
talking about movies and
This is
photography.
Okay, so let's talk about movies.
Barnatia.
So Dominican deaths have been rising. Follow my Facebook because I share everything, and I think we're up to like 13 people died now. And I think it's like I personally, I'm waiting for this to come out for medical reports, but I think it's arsenic. I think people are being poisoned by somebody that's mad and poisoning them. So keep that in your heads. And when I'm right, you can congratulate me on Facebook.
But one good thing, rates to vacation in the Dominican right now, very low.
Yeah, but you don't want to go there. Trust me, I went there. I thought I was going to get murdered every day I was there.
Their entire economy is based on
Tourism.
tourism, and it's sinking fast right now. So
Yup.
that's
Don't buy property in the Dominican right now.
T's and P's for the Dominican Republic, right?
Yeah, they're gonna find out that somebody is arsenic poisoning them that works for that resort. I guarantee it's gonna be somebody that works for the resort that hates life.
Well, you had the hit on David Ortiz as well, which is a little more high profile.
Was that related though?
Well, I mean, it's another. I mean, he's an American citizen at this point, so
But
it's
he's from
kind of
there,
like, attacking a high profile American. So
Because there was
But
another.
there was a whole hit job based on a drug
Wasn't it?
cartel connection.
Yeah,
type
the
thing,
dirty
so.
cop and something. I don't know the whole story about David Ortiz, but I did read some of that. The other lady too, that was like had the crap beaten out of her, and they stuffed her in like a vent down there and hit her, and they expected her to die, but somebody found her in the vent alive, and she ended up surviving. But she had the crap beaten out of her at the same resort where everyone's dying from drinking from the minibar.
So this is all coming from like the same resort.
Yeah, the same chain of resorts, but yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I think everyone that's gotten sick from the minibar has been the exact same resort. I don't think there's a different hotel involved with those. Wow. I went to the Dominican one time and we stayed in the house, and it was like this beautiful, it slept 16 people. It looked like a castle. It was gorgeous. It had a wraparound pool, but we had a 14-year-old boy with a machine gun sitting on our front steps waiting for violence. And I was like, doesn't make you feel comfortable to see a 14-year-old with a machine gun sitting on your front steps guarding your house. Like, nope. And then there was no places to eat when we were there. We were so afraid to leave our house because the drive from the airport to the house was scary. There was no places to shop. So it wasn't a vacation for me. Like, I left to shop. I want to go to a different restaurant every night. We literally ate like we were college students there. We went to like their version of whatever Walmart is down there, and had to buy our own food and just kind of fend for ourselves.
That's no good.
So let's talk about movies and stuff now, because I like entertainment too. Like, we can go back to that. Has anybody watched What If on Netflix?
No, what is that?
So What If is with Renee Zellweger and her new face. And it's this show where she propositions, she knows that there's this girl who needs money to start a business. And the business is cancer research related. And so she offers the girl $80 million if she can spend one night with her husband. So the whole premise of this show is what happens that night. And they don't tell you until the end. But I watched it. You have to watch it. It's anxiety for me. It was such anxiety. I had anxiety the whole show.
Is it almost like because there was that movie like back in the
Indecent Proposal.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, but you don't actually know what's going on until the end. It definitely is plotty and twisty, and like I said, the first 2 episodes gave me a lot of anxiety because I did not know what was happening, and I was so confused what happened that night. And I finished it this week. I watched it all in like a week, and it was really, really good. Stranger Things 3 hit yesterday.
I know I haven't watched it.
Like right after midnight, I think they dropped it.
Yeah, I will say I do like Stranger Things, but I don't like the kids. But I like the rest of the show. Like, and it's based off of the kids, but I cannot stand the damn kid with the lisp that makes the Chewbacca noise the whole time. The chunkier kid.
With like the cleft lip.
Yes, and he's the one.
He actually has like that's like a
medical thing, yeah. So he's on Wi-Fi commercials too.
Yeah.
What? I made fun of him. I'm sorry, I did. I can't stand him. I don't like him. If he died on the show, I'd probably be more into it. But I do like the alien-y, supernatural part of the show because I'm a huge horror movie person. We watched a horror movie on Netflix this week too, and it was terrible. I think it was called For They Are Coming or something stupid like that. And it was like literally some girl would just get it on with these people and then kill them. You might like it.
That's
No, I'm just kidding.
that's like life.
Career goals.
It was kind of like a praying mantis story. Like, it was kind of weird. It just wasn't that great. The last horror movie I saw that I really loved, I loved Escape Room. Did any of you see that? No?
No.
You guys are
I
so
don't do-
boring.
I don't do horror. I don't know.
Are you afraid?
As a kid, I definitely had an inherent fear with it, and I think at some point I just psyched myself out too far in the other direction where I was like, it's fake, and then it wasn't enjoyable for me anymore because it just became corny, where it was like, well, to condition myself to not be afraid of it, I had to be like, well, that's a set. There's a director on this side of that guy that's not really happy, just to keep my anxieties from actually being afraid. And now it's gotten to the point where I can't enjoy the film because I'm obsessed with the production and the corniness of the horror, because a lot of times these aren't well-made pictures, to be honest.
No. Escape Room isn't really such a horror movie as it is. It's kind of more like an action thriller, and it was definitely twisted and really good. I love a really twisted movie, and it's hard to find a lot of movies nowadays that are actually quality. And I found that this one was a really like a good quality movie.
Did you see The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix?
The TV series?
The TV series.
I did, and I loved it up until the final episode.
Oh, I loved it. Like, I didn't like it the first 2 episodes, but then after the 3rd episode, when they were in the funeral home, it took off for me, and I was just amazed at how they were doing this circular storytelling.
Yeah.
Like the little girl in bed who keeps seeing the broke neck lady.
Yep.
And you find out who the broke neck lady is.
Yep. Yeah, that was really good. And they're actually doing a 2nd season of that show with a completely different storyline.
Yeah, different cast and everything, but it was just really well done. It was like old style, good, scary.
Mm-hmm.
Not like psychological, like psychotic is going to come and slash you up, which could happen at any moment. This is like something that's like very supernatural, scary, very cool stuff.
Haunted, yeah, like very haunting. And I'm very much into haunting and supernatural, and I go ghost hunting a lot. Like, I love ghost hunting.
Really?
I do.
Well, there was...
I just got back from a ghost hunting trip. We just went Memorial Day weekend to the Shanley Hotel in New York. And we were in a basement where there were over 200 bodies at one point. And I posted a video from that basement, and you can see in the video, well, aside from my husband ripping a huge fart, you can.
That's the one.
Yeah, he didn't realize I was filming. We were actually live on Facebook, but in that video, you can see at the beginning of the video, it's very light in the room, and you can see the whole basement clear. But by the time I get to the end of the video, that whole side of the basement that was once light is now surrounded by shadow. And we can't figure out why it changed. Because you can see us trying to figure out how to get the flashlight on that wall. Nothing is helping. And I found out later through a psychic family member that she's actually seeing spiritual or residual spirit in that cloud. So, and at one point there was 200 dead bodies in there because it was used during the tuberculosis outbreak to store bodies during the winter so they could bury them.
Right.
But this house was also owned by like Irish mob, so people were murdered in there. There was a bordello. That's where I slept. We all slept in the bordello upstairs, and then the gentleman's quarters was right down, and that's where they used to play. But those areas were very quiet in this house. I don't know if ghosts go away for Memorial Day weekend, but I feel like they were very quiet that night. Normally, we're terrified ghost hunting, and we weren't really that scared, except there was like a mirror. They had a spirit mirror there. When you looked into this mirror, and if you stared into it, things happened to your face. Like my face went dark and I had yellow eyes like a cat. And they send you in there in groups of 2 because they want someone to witness this happening to you. So I went in with one of my coworkers, Kim, and she was standing behind me. She sat first and she got right up. She couldn't do it. She was terrified. And then I sat there and she saw me go dark. She didn't see the yellow eyes, but she saw me go dark. And then I saw the yellow eyes, and that's when I stood up. And it's like, I'm done with the spirit mirror for right now because it's turning me either into a cat or a demon. And I don't like either of those things. So, and then
demon drag.
I actually volunteered myself to do a ghost hunting event for them in drag for Halloween if they wanted me. So who knows? You might have a too soon ghost hunt somewhere up here.
Too soon death watch.
Ooh, that would be interesting. I'll strap a camera to myself and just walk around a house in full drag, like back in the day when they had those like face ones that would just look at you. I'll do one of those. That would be a blast.
Now, have you ever heard what sounds like somebody being above us in the building here at night during the show?
I don't think I've ever paid attention.
I used to do production work on, and it was the only time we've ever had a left-wing political show on the station, of course. But it was a Jeff Santos show, and I'd come in here 6 to 8 every weeknight, and I was by myself. And I was producing. He was on Skype, so I was just running the board for him. He wasn't here in person. He came in a couple of times, but he lived out near Boston. So I would hear what sounded like someone up above here, and I was new to the station. I was not aware of what the deal was. I just assumed people lived like apartments or something were here. To come to find out, this is the Freemasons building. There's nothing up. There's no one up there. There's a big Freemason lodge on the next floor up, but this room here is empty and is like there's a bench up there and this turret up above
It's a temple.
us. Yeah,
it's essentially okay. So one of the scariest ghost hunting trips I went on was a Masonic temple.
Mm-hmm. So I talked to Bob Bianchi, who does the Bob's NASCAR report with Bob Bardis, and he said, "Yeah, no, there's a ghost that lives up there." So that's probably what you were hearing.
There's probably more than one in the building
Yeah.
this hold, and talk to the psychic that's on the network too to see if she would ever go up there. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, the
Might be
scariest
worth it.
ghost hunting trip was at a Masonic temple, and those ghosts do not like gay people. So they're very active around gay. They don't like gays, obviously, because I think that's a Mason thing. I think they are open now to it, but I think that back in the day it was very shamed upon or whatever. But this temple was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. It feels like Game of Thrones because the chairs are giant and
Yeah.
they're surrounded by little chairs. There's a big chair, and the women are not allowed to sit in those chairs. So when we were ghost hunting, they would tell women to go sit in the chair because they would always feel someone pushing down on them when they were sitting in the chair. And they would try to get the ghost to mess with you with these things. Lights are going on and off like crazy. Like, these events are really good. This is with a company called Ghost Hunts USA. Terrifying. I'm going on so many more of them. I just love the company. I love all the psychics that work for the company because they usually send a psychic out with you. So the psychic can enhance it. And I've started to open up myself a little bit. Every time I meet a psychic, they're always like, "You're psychic," and you're just blocking it. Like you're clenching. They always tell me I'm clenching. That's a horrible word for it. But they do. They tell me I'm clenching. So I'm so afraid of seeing something that I'm blocking myself from actually seeing it. So one lady told me how to do these little exercises. So I've been trying to like just calm myself and do that and see what comes through. And I think last time we were ghost hunting, I had a word pop into my head and it ended up being legitimate to something. And this past trip too, I saw hands coming through a floor, which creeped me out. Like I saw, and we found out we were in a room where kids were murdered.
Oh my God.
And they've never pulled up the floorboards. And I'm like, I bet you pull up these floorboards and there's gonna be bones guaranteed in that room.
We've been reaffirmed on Facebook. Deb Fox says the building is haunted. There are quite a few ghosts, but they are really harmless.
Yeah, she's my son's grandmother, and she is the one that is a medium. She's psychic.
So she seems to believe that there are some ghosts here, which I fully believe it. I heard it sounded like kids running around or something, and I really was convinced that this was an apartment building or something above us. And I said something.
It used to be, didn't it?
I don't believe so.
No?
Because when I asked Mr. Bianchi about that, he said, "Nope, this is a Masonic lodge. There's storage up above this, but no, there's no,
we should see if we can get like a little ghost hunting expedition here.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and maybe do like maybe get like Stephanie from, she hosts Monday nights from, I think 6 to, or I don't know what time she's on. Stephanie Demboy.
Yeah, is that the Monday nights from 8 to 9-ish, something like
she's
that?
a 2-hour show,
So
but
it's
I
8
know
to 10
she
is something.
She takes callers at 8:30 and 9:30.
So it's probably 8 to 10, yeah. I think it's
so.
Monday
Yeah, tune
night.
into her show too. She's really good. Yeah, but maybe we can get like something going on where we do like Life's a Drag with like all the people that want to come and do like a little ghost hunt here, because that'd be kind of crazy. I have a lot of ghost hunting equipment, and I have a spirit box where you can actually speak to spirits and they speak back.
Yeah,
we're getting low on time, so I want to just have everyone refresh where we can find you guys and give us your websites and everything. But first, Sophia _Skingram, SOPHIA _Skingram. Follow her on Instagram. And also, if you need to have your back cracked, call Catalyst Chiropractic. And Michael, let's start with you since I'm looking at you.
Oh, yeah. No, don't put me on the spot like that. But yeah, I'm on Instagram as MMVONR.
Oh,
are we going out already?
Just keep going.
Just go quick.
And I'm on Facebook under my name and also MVR Photography, and also on modelmayhem.com/MVR Photography.
Dan here, Danny Doido 78 on Instagram, and you can also buy my eco-friendly soy wax candles at Handmaiden at the Pheasantland Mall, bottom level down by Sears.
All right, and I'm Jason. You can find me tomorrow, Everlasting at the Movie World, right here. You can find me on Facebook, JAYSON, Jason, CROSBY, Crosby, at Everlasting at the Movie World on Facebook. You can find links on the show here, so I'll post all that stuff as well. So if you're looking for us, and I'm going to be on Sunday, Weekends with Bing and Brian, 10 to 11 a.m.
All right, and my name is Monique Susoon, and I would like to thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next Friday at 8 p.m. on WSMN 1590, Life's a Drag. Thank you for you all being here, and have a great night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.
You're listening to 1590 WSMN Nashua. USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Salt Lake City police have found the body of 23-year-old college student Mackenzie Lewick in Logan Canyon, which is about 80 miles north of the city of Salt Lake City. Police Chief Mike Brown has a message for the community.
I'm here to ask you, to implore you to remain respectful. The tight-knit nature of this community is what helped us close this case so quickly.
Department of Justice lawyers are telling a federal judge they will continue to pursue putting a citizenship question on the 2020 census, but for now, they're printing the forms without one. President Trump earlier on Friday said he's considering using an executive order to put the question on next year's census.
Think of it, $15 to $20 billion, and you're not allowed to ask them, are you a citizen? And by the way, if you look at the history of our country, it's almost always been asked.
And on Friday, the Dow lost 44 points, the S&P fell 5. And you're listening to USA Radio News.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
A controversial Democratic lawmaker continues to criticize the U.S. Border Patrol, this time accusing top officials of lying. USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes has the latest.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claims